any significant right-of-way acquisitions that will be required for the Milwaukee line. And he's already started those conversations. His group has started those conversations with property owners, and a more detailed report will be made to the board in the future. Thanks.
Okay, great. Questions, Tiffany? On that one item, that Neil, on your reporting on the alignment and property purchases and the like on the Milwaukee line, what is do we have an issue here with that bridge height that I was reading about? Is that going to complicate or delay things from your point of view?
Just to note that what we have done is completed the technical studies. We'll actually be forwarding a recommendation on the bridge height selection to the steering committee, which is a group that Fred chairs with representatives from other jurisdictions. That will be next week. I believe it's Tuesday afternoon. And it's our view that frankly, the science here is on our side, and I think we've nailed it. I think we're in a correct position in terms of the recommendation. And so I think we'll be moving ahead. We'll be recommending that we move ahead at the 77 feet that was referenced in Bill and Rivera's article last week. I think most parties are happy with that. Again, I think the Spirit of Portland organization has indicated discomfort with that level, but we think that the numbers and the facts back us up.
Okay.
To be clear though, and Neil, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, we aren't the deciders of this. The U.S. Coast Guard is the decider. We formally make an application with a design to them with all of the information that has been provided. We have been working very closely with the Coast Guard all the way along so they understand exactly what it is, the type of analysis we're doing, and as was quoted in the paper, but maybe more importantly, their policy, Coast Guard, is that they have to be able to protect existing and reasonable future uses. And that's what is at issue. And so it's both revolving around climate change, that is, will it have more levels of rain, therefore higher levels of river, and thereby needing more clearance. How often does that occur is the issue. Plus, as Mr. Yates has argued, that he wants to be able to have the possibility of putting on a windmill turbine, electrical production turbine, or other things on his ships, and that's the debate. But that's the decision ultimately is by the Coast Guard on the height of the bridge.
But I mean, the concern that I would have is that these things can add to the timeline, and in that process, the uncertainty, we're not moving forward, and that could lead to increased expenses. And this is not an inexpensive line that we're talking about.
It certainly isn't, and per Fred's comments, that's why I was careful to sort of note this is still a recommendation and will be until that final Coast Guard permit is issued. And then, and frankly, the other part of this is that this will be then the impacts of this or issues associated with this will be evaluated in the final environmental impact statement, which is due to be released next spring. So there's still a lot of process to go through to make sure that we're on the right course, and there's a lot of federal agency check-in along the way, as I think Fred began to note. There is cost either way in this sort of equation. If the bridge goes up substantially higher, there's cost in terms of its usability for bikes, pedestrians, plus the land side, then the bridge becomes much more of an obstruction in the development pattern for South Waterfront and the Yamsi area. And the costs of that land side improvement go up dramatically then too as it goes up in that area. So this is not one where you can say, perhaps if there's an opponent here, that there's a perfect path. There's costs if the bridge goes up, and what we're looking for is really the sweet spot where we make the case that essentially all navigational needs are met, that current usage of the river. So, and that reasonable test that the Coast Guard put in place will be met as well.
Okay, well, keep us posted on it.
Absolutely.
Okay, no questions of Tiffany. Thank you, Tiffany. Mr. Williams, good morning.
Good morning. I apologize to the board for being late. For some reason, I had this meeting scheduled for 9:30. And I think that's because of my cat meeting here that comes at that time. But enough of the excuses. We had a CAT meeting on November the 18th, and the staff provided an update on the completion of the work on the bridge plate slope on the Type 4 light rail vehicles. I think it's the ADA, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but the ADA requires a certain slope for the bridge plate that comes out of the train when for someone using a mobility device. And some of our CAD members found it a little difficult to get onto the train using their because without a motorized vehicle. Therefore, TriMet looked at that, and even though it did meet ADA requirements, they tried to reduce the slope as much as possible in order to help the riders. So they've done all they can on that issue, and I think the CAT committee was kind of pleased with the fact that they did attempt to try and reduce that slope. The Oregon Transit Association Conference was held October 25th, and the CAT, number of the CAT committee members went to that conference, and they were very, very pleased with the training that they received there. We had a briefing by security and the staff, and an update on transit security activities and improvements. And one of the nice things about our transit police is that they're, as the chief said, they have enough people now to provide some of the security that we're looking for. And I know at some point we'll probably talk about the incident that happened this week, but that's above and beyond. I looked at this over the course of the week, and sometimes things get a little bit out of hand, and we might make a mistake or something of this nature. But we will just, I'm sure that staff and security will look at everything and determine what proper steps will be taken. The operator performance report was given, and the fixed route operators performance monitoring on compliance on stop calling, and it's amazing the amount of improvement that have taken place regarding stop calling. We're still trying to get 100%, but that's the moon. We're shooting for the stars, and right now I think we're at the moon. We're also given a report on a new project, the bike parking project at Sunset Transit Center, where bike riders will be able to park their bikes even overnight for some nominal fee, and they're moving that to different locations as well, to try and get, because of the parking situation out there, and some people would like, instead of parking their cars there, ride their bike down, get that exercise in the morning, and get that exercise when they come home. That was our report for
Questions, Bob? Bob, as always, thank you.